What they've pretty much done is take the original and all of the COVID regulations and transfer them straight over to the Health Act.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio, and I am hutful. After Cyril's speech last night, I'm sure you are too. He didn't say much, but I think one of the most important things that he did mention was that there are amendments to the Health Act that are happening. And he says that the public can comment, and he actually encouraged the public to comment. Well, here to help us out with that is DSSA. You can go to the link in the description below right now and go have your say on the draft amendments to the Health Act. There's already over 28,000 people who have commented, and here to chat more about that is Rob Hutchinson from DSSA. Rob, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me very quickly. We just heard this president's speech last night. It was awful, as usual, full of lies, but that's not why I brought you on. I brought you on because DSSA at the moment is busy campaigning, calling for public comment with regards to the amendments to the Health Act. So very briefly, Rob, if you don't mind, please tell us, what are these amendments to the Health Act?
They're quite significant amendments to 4 sections of the Health Act, and they cover the disposal of human remains right through to how people should actually deal with the pandemic, right through to the venue regulations and also isolation measures, which the Department of Health can enforce on people. What they've pretty much done is take the original and all of the COVID regulations and transfer them straight over to the Health Act under a pretty tough piece of legislation. So, in actual fact, the temporary COVID regulations, which are temporary under the Disaster Management Act, have now become permanent under the Health Act, and the minister can, of course, enact them at any time that he sees fit. It's as simple as that.
Just to understand completely, and I really want people to understand this, the regulations that we've endured for the past 2 years under these lockdowns basically become absolutely permanent. Are they allowed to do this? Just to willy-nilly just make this a thing, or is there a way to fight this?
The regulations under in any act or any law are usually determined solely by the minister, which is a real problem in South African law, and something that we will seek to address. Regulations don't have to go out for public comment and don't require parliamentary oversight either, which is quite concerning, because all the power is then placed with one person, and that is the minister. And that leaves the question of, is this really a democracy when it comes to policy formation? You can draft fantastic policy, but then how you enact those through the regulations is solely up to the minister. So in this case, they have put it out for public comment, which is a breath of fresh air there. So the public can actually have their say. Whether that will be enforced, or whether the public participation will have any effect, is completely up to the number of people who actually do participate in the organizations that do drive that public opinion forward and present it to the minister or the president himself, if the need does arise. So yes, it can still affect the outcome, as we've seen. Public participation and enough public pressure does actually create a change, and it shows government that if there's a substantial pushback on some regulation, then the minister is forced to actually address that. And then, of course, if the minister ignores the voice of the public, well, then we can approach the president, who has the ultimate say at the end of the day.
Okay, so there's hope, to put it in a way. All right, so very important question now. Why should the public trust DSSA? Now, I'm framing this in a way where if there's someone watching this now who's never heard of DSSA before, why should they take the time, which, by the way, it's free, to comment, all the links in the description, by the way, to comment on this draft of the amendment, or the Health Act, rather, I should say. Why should we trust DSSA?
It's a difficult question to answer, but let's put it this way: we don't run petitions, so we make it free for the public to have their say, either they're in favor of something or opposed to something. And not only that, but we offer the opportunity for the public to offer suggestions in the way that policy should be shaped. We've had a number of successes in draft amendments before in influencing the outcome, and for that reason, I think we are pretty effective in that. We've also partnered with other organizations in this, and that shows that we don't want to be the heroes in this at all. What these changes do require is a collaboration between civil society organizations and individuals. So, as you know, trust is determined from the outside. We can't tell you why you should trust us, but we can only show that we do effective work in the field of policy formation. We've had plenty of successes, and we've run and completed well over 250 campaigns in this field over the past 3 years. We have a significant number of subscribers, 1.4 million subscribers, in fact. So, I think maybe the figures there speak for themselves, but ultimately it's up to participant to make up that decision.
Great. And I think the most another thing that people should take into consideration when they fill out this form, one, besides the fact that it's free and it just takes like literally 2 minutes, is that, again, it's not a petition. It's something that is going to hound the minister or the person that's receiving these. Every comment is formulated into an email and is sent to the corresponding person that it needs to go to. Every single entry. The draft amendments to the Health Act, the new COVID regulations, it has over 28,000 comments thus far at the time of recording this. So that's 28,000 emails that have gone out to someone's inbox. And like you said before on the show, the government has to look at all of them, correct?
Correct. They have to consider and acknowledge every single one. And they have to show proof thereof, which is why we encourage people to use our system. If you send it directly through to government, you have no evidence that you have actually sent it through other than your email. So we have no way of knowing how many people sent through and what they actually said. But if you use our system, then we keep a record of that all, and we can dispute that or the outcome or challenge the outcome in a court of law using the participation data, which is highly, highly effective. I mean, the government always says they have to act in the best interests of the public. That's their favorite catchline when producing new policy or introducing new policy. Well, if we hold the evidence through mass participation, then government has to act in the best interests of the public, and especially those who took the time to participate.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Please, once again, links in the description. There's not just a link to the draft amendments to the Health Act, but also to the mandatory vaccination campaign as well. So go check that out yourself. Rob, is there anything in closing that you want to just mention very quickly to the people watching?
Yeah, perhaps. So we get a lot of people saying, why participate? It doesn't make a difference and government won't listen to us or anything else. But I can assure you that is not the case. It definitely does make a difference. And government is expecting mass participation and expecting to hear the voice of the public. If you keep silent, well, then you basically allowing government to do whatever they want. You're endorsing their actions. So have your say, whether it's for or against, whether you support or don't support it. Have your say and give your reasons why, and then we'll make sure that your voice is presented in Parliament or to the committee or directly to the minister himself. We've got a whole lot of campaigns which are related to the COVID and regulations and the Health Act and various other pieces of questionable legislation like the Code of Conduct that determines how businesses must enforce mandatory vaccination policies and so on. We are collaborating with several other groups, special interest groups, that represent a broad sector of society and society in general in South Africa. So keep an eye out for that. It will be a massive campaign and a massive initiative, and it's basically trying to curb government overreach, which is clearly evident in all of these policies that are coming out now, and something that we need to address before it gets out of hand.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, links in the description. Go check it out. Rob, once again, thank you.
Thanks very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before you go, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about all this. This is your second reminder to please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, please share this far and wide. Let people know that you can have a say. This is probably one of the most important times that South Africans should have their voices heard, and DSSA makes it super easy for you to do so. So please, ladies and gentlemen, share this video far and wide. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.